Hey guys, Czar here. Hope all is well and trust you're having a good morning so far. It is Thursday, September the 5th. We're about 10 seconds away from the open. You'll notice something a little different here this morning. You'll notice that there are 2 sisters instead of the usual 3 sisters. Here's the way I normally show this grid right here. It's the NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow, but I'm dropping the Dow. That's a pretty significant change, I would think, from what you're used to seeing here if you've been a viewer for a while, and a number of reasons why I'm doing it. I explain it in detail in my Telegram group. The bottom line is I used to trade the NASDAQ and the S&P and the Dow for the Razor's Edge model, wherever the best opportunity or cleanest setup was. I no longer do that. I now trade only the NASDAQ for the Razor's Edge, and that has a lot to do with consistency of higher volatility, the low VIX environment we've experienced for the last couple of years, and it seems to be a pattern now, given a number of different changes in the options world for implied volatility and so on and so forth. I won't get into that in this video. The truth is I don't trade the S&P either in the intraday model, but I do want to have some way to gauge and assess and evaluate and analyze things like synchronicity, relative strength, relative weakness, and so on and so forth. And because the S&P 500 is 500 stocks, broad-based benchmark of the blue chip stocks, of course, in the US, and the NASDAQ is 100 tech-heavy, of course, but this is my instrument of choice. And so I really want to simplify and streamline things. I won't be trading the Dow, so take it off the screens. It only represents 30 industrial stocks, price weighted as opposed to market cap weighted. These two are market cap weighted. We have opened here, guys, and we'll just move along now. And I'll explain this more as we go forward in different videos and what have you, if there are any questions. But hopefully it's just easily understood that I want to simplify and streamline the Razor's Edge model for my viewers and for myself. The reality is, if there are only 2 pieces to watch here instead of 3, it makes it that much easier. I know that many viewers were coming to me with questions over the last couple of years, really, and having difficulty with the complexity of trying to negotiate and navigate 3 different pieces and come up with a story for an entry. This is going to make it a whole lot easier. Either these two are aligned or they're not. Either they are deviating or they're not. Either they are synchronous or they're not. So it'll be relatively easier to make certain decisions. We're open. We're now into minute 3. We're into minute 4, actually. 3 full 1 minute candles are finished. We have the 1 minute opening range here, and we are inside the open range on the S&P. We are above the open range and just now above VWAP on the NASDAQ. You can see the 3 sisters here for the daily frame. I will likely keep the Dow on the daily frame. Who knows? I might just simplify that as well and move to these 2. But we have basically an inside day on the NASDAQ, very much an inside day, a narrow inside day on the S&P, and a narrow inside day, doji style day here on the Dow. So bringing you back to the 2 sisters, I'm going to get used to saying the 2 sisters, or the twins if you like, on the 1 minute chart here. Here's the power grid, and so we have an inside day. That means what? Inconclusive. It means indecision from a daily perspective, right? The big picture perspective. It means permissive for either longs or shorts, depending on what's happening on the lower time frames. That's based on my assessment and how my model works. You might have a very different way of looking at it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to drop down here to the 30-second chart here for a moment, get an idea of what that looks like. I'm going to stay on the 30-second for now. We've had this little breakout from the open range, pulling back. This is not much of an impulse wave to me, so a break and a retest here will not do it for me. Even if we started rallying right now, I likely wouldn't take that unless I saw something compelling on the S&P. I was going to say the 3 sisters. There are no 3 anymore, only the 2. You'll notice that we are below open range and VWAP and EMAs on the S&P, and looking like we're going to round up here a little bit. We'll see. And then there, of course, is the NASDAQ. Just going to sit and watch this for a bit here, guys. All right. This is just a marker. Not doing anything here, guys. Not doing anything here. Just watching. This is just a marker. Watching the 2 sisters. Nothing yet. Okay, guys. buy stop right there. And I'm in, guys. And I'm in. And I'm in. I'll show you why in a second. Give me one moment. I'll be right back with you looking for 1R here this morning. I'll be right back. I'm going to remove this zone marker here, guys. It's not an important zone, as you can see. A very minor zone from the UK session, especially given what's been happening here in the bigger picture. Back to the 1 minute chart for a moment here. This could end very quickly here, guys. You can see the target on this one is right into this zone that was formed in the UK and Asia. Fairly minor zones given the bigger picture context here, guys, but important nonetheless to keep in mind, of course, on these trades. Looking for one more push here into the promised land. My stop now, guys, break even. Stop is to break even right there, just to lock this thing in. Dropping back to the 30-second chart to show you a little bit more detail here. And there it is, guys. Very simple to trade, guys. The daily was an inside day, permissive to both, flipping to a bullish body. We were inside of this range with a zone up here at the top. Fairly important, but not that important. Could easily be blown through, which of course you're seeing happening right now. But that happened to be where the 1R target was, of course. This is a break above the open range. It's a break and a retest. You saw that in more detail on the 30-second chart, which I won't switch back to now, so I'll lose the formatting. And then a break above. I didn't take it right away. Absolutely could have. The reason I waited for it is that I really wanted to make sure that the S&P was doing something very similar. Waited for it to break into new highs, which is right here on this candle, as you can see, hence the slightly later entry. Even though we're weakening now a little bit on the S&P, doesn't matter. The trade is done with the support of the S&P. Two sisters now, guys. Have an amazing day. Thanks for being here.